Extra, extra, the new Charlie Hebdo is on sale. You can't buy it. It's sold out, hot off the press. Lines circling blocks of the French capital before dawn as people try to get their hands on the memorial issue of the magazine, the first since the terror attack last week. The prophet is making the publication a profit. He made the cover of the satirical anti-religious magazine. In fact, the so-called Survivors edition was soaked in bad taste, including a cartoon of a masturbating nun and the Pope as a big mafia boss. But hey, it sells. Because just a while ago, it wasn't. 5 million printed after the initial 3 million sold out at €3 apiece. On eBay, you can bid for over 10,000 euros at the moment. The French government supported the magazine with 1.2 million euros after the attack. But just a couple of months ago, Charlie Hebdo was appealing for public donations. Only 60,000 copies were being printed, and merely half of those were selling. Joining us in the now is Ahmadiyya, senior spokesperson for Ahmadiyya Muslim community UK, joining us from London. Thanks for being with us. This is how the global Muslim community has reacted officially. Egypt's Grand Mufti condemned the cartoon, saying it provokes the Muslim world. Turkey accused the West of hypocrisy over the different ways it treats terror-related deaths at home and in the Islamic world. It also said the consequences of choosing to put the Prophet Muhammad on the cover could be dire. Iran, for its part, it says the publication offends believers and could cause a vicious circle of extremism. I have to ask to Mr. Ahmadi, what do you think about the choice to publish the Prophet once again?
Good evening, Anissa. First of all, our commiserations to all those bereaved. Those attacks were vile attacks in Paris, and we do not condone them whatsoever. However, with regards to the cartoons, I think all Muslims are offended by this because Islam is a religion that promotes unity, peace, and tolerance in communities, and it respects others. You know, it begins with the Holy Prophet himself. That, and not just the Holy Prophet, I mean, all prophets of in the Holy Quran and in the Bible are respected and revered, and holy personages are very important people to us and hold very dear to our hearts. So we don't like to see those being caricatured. Sorry. Also, that the Holy Prophet for us was a perfect model, an example, and the last thing we want to see is him being depicted as if he was imperfect, and this is what the cartoon has done. But we must remember that the very first cartoon, which was the cause of the offense, was the one that portrayed the Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, as a terrorist, as a Taliban suicide bomber. This is what caused offense, and this was in bad taste, and this is what they were trying to republish, and this is what the offense was taken.
Why are Muslims offended if the magazine is known, it's atheist, it's known as an anti-religious magazine, it's satirical, it also hits other religions and other figures?
Well, we don't appreciate anyone being ridiculed. You see, if you remember, when the poppies were burnt in Britain, the British people took great offense, and rightly so. It was only a slogan. The poppies themselves had no value, but it was the symbolism of the burning of it. So likewise, the revered people of any religion, and we would do the same for Prophet Moses, for Prophet Abraham, Prophet Jesus, if they were ridiculed, we would be angry at that as well. But I think the actions of the Muslims, of these terrorists rather, sorry, is unfathomable and unexcusable, and we cannot condone those whatsoever. Hurting other people's feeling is Islam forbids it. There's a verse of the Holy Quran that says, don't mock the gods of others, lest they out of spite mock God, Allah himself. So here's the lesson, that we should not aggravate others' feelings, because they in turn might do that. And this is exactly what is happening, that despite the 1.6 billion Muslims who live in peace, it only needs a small fraction to be triggered off and become radicalized, and look what's happened in Paris as a consequence of that.
Some might argue,
these sort of things.
Some might argue, though, that if you're always worried about offending someone, offending a religion or a group or a person in particular, that free speech in a way then becomes very debatable. Where does the line have to be drawn?
Well, the laws put the free speech argument in place because there are many laws. For example, we cannot deny the Holocaust. What a disaster that was for the world. But if you deny it, there's punishments. In France alone, if you defame any of the officials, government officials, you are fined, I think, 45,000 euros. So laws are put in. I think there should be laws to stop people ridiculing other faiths. And that's what we want. That's what we want. Why? And this is the question, why do we want that? It's so that harmony and peace can be promoted in a society, lest ignorant people like those terrorists act in the way that they did. And this is what we want to prevent.
Al-Qaeda's Yemen branch has claimed it was behind the Paris massacre. Will this change the situation for Muslims in Europe?
Well, I hope that the Muslims condemn what has been said in Yemen by the Al-Qaeda groups, and no decent Muslim will support them. And we would want those Muslims or those groups who are claiming this act to be brought to justice. Muslims should adhere to their values. Islam is a religion of peace, so we all should promote peace. That is what Muslims need to do. And as much as these magazine cartoons are offensive, and I certainly won't be buying one, I'm afraid, I certainly won't be going out of my way to radicalize or to promote hatred amongst our Muslim communities. And the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is a leader in this, I believe, that from the leader of our Caliph, the speaker, who speaks to the whole world of the Ahmadiyya community, promotes peace. He actually spoke on this subject only last Friday, saying how we should act, how we should promote peace and reflect the true qualities of the Prophet, of that of a peaceful man. I'll just give you one narration, if you don't mind, Nisa, that the Holy Prophet was ridiculed in his own time. A woman used to throw rubbish at him on a daily basis. And one day there was no rubbish being thrown, and when he inquired, she had fallen ill. And he went upstairs, we went up to her and looked after her and asked for her well-being. And as a result of that, she became a Muslim. I think that is the example all Muslims should take, and we should all learn from that lesson. That is the true Islam. That is the Islam of peace and tolerance.
All right, senior spokesperson for the Ahmadiyya Muslim community UK with us in the Now Tonight, Ashan Ahmedi. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Well, lots of people, unfortunately, are trying to cash in on the Charlie Hebdo tragedy. Shops have been selling Je suis Charlie souvenirs covered with the I am Charlie slogan. France alone has seen more than 50 attempts to trademark the phrase that went viral after the attacks. One hotel chain even tried to use the hashtag to promote itself. Well, Tuesday, French lawmakers voted to continue airstrikes against Islamic State jihadists in Iraq. The country is officially at war with terrorism, according to the Prime Minister. Paris joined the Washington-led coalition against the Islamists in September, but France has so far held back from targeting Islamic State in Syria. That possibly could change. The defense minister has vowed that Islamic State needs to be wiped out, that the terrorists, the army of terrorists, in his words, are everywhere.